Hello and welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to my Game of Thrones Legends mobile game content. So today, folks, I want to mess around and do a little bit of the Battle of the Bastards. I'm going to do some videos on the differing difficulties, and I'm probably going to make each difficulty its own separate video because I don't want this to go for hours and hours. That's what it would be if I tried to go through all of them in one video. So I'm going to break it up, and I just want to have a little fun. I just want to preface this video by saying, yes, I do understand how the mechanics of the Battle of the Bastards is supposed to work now, but I am going to be doing my own thing, and I'm just going to be messing around and trying to have a little fun. They have changed the mechanics of the event quite substantially, and in the Treacherous and the Kingslayer versions is where you really start to feel it. But for the normal and the hard, I just want to mess around and have some fun and just see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and go into it with this weird comp team. I know this is crazy, but I just want to play it and see what it does because I have kind of an idea behind this, but I just want to see how it goes and just want to relax and have a little fun. So let's do this. This will be battle number 1 on normal mode. Okay, so at the start, I was just curious to see what happened at the start, and it looks like Sunfire and Alicent charged right up. I don't know if it was because there was some gym damage or not. I think it was because of Jaime and his leadership ability that probably went right off the bat. So let's go ahead and just see what happens if I try to blow through it real fast. I know that the bleed damage is probably going to just take me out, but I'm curious to see if the possibility of a 0-turn team is a thing. Oh, and I got so close. 670 damage and I would have had a 0-turn kill on that one. So let's see what kind of a score I end up with. Okay, so that's nowhere near what I was thinking it might do, but I want to try it a couple of times because I'm not convinced that's as good as this team can perform. Okay, right at the start, Jaime does do some damage. Okay, so we're moving right along, but I don't have anybody charged up, so it is not performing like I'd hoped. What I had hoped is that I would get lucky and have Stannis and Tormund charge up, because they're both fully legged out and are beasts. So I was curious to see how it would perform. But I just want to give it a couple tries because I think that this team could do good with a good board, with a good RNG. I'm pretty sure this team could do a 0-turn, but it's not going to be this one. So the event has been changed quite a bit. It's now very punishing when you don't pay attention to the mechanics. You need to try to break some boxes as fast as possible so that you can get some of that immunity to bleed damage going. Right now I have immunity because I broke some boxes on these two. And I'm just messing around. Just messing around, just wanting to see what happens. Basically testing, because I've watched a lot of people play this event, but I have not actually entered it until just now. So I'm getting my first taste of how it really works now. and it's definitely performing different than I thought. But that's cool because we kind of need a change at this point. Same old thing gets old after a while. Things are definitely different. I think you can do speed runs on these first two difficulties if you get lucky and get a good board at the start. But the Treacherous and Kingslayer is going to be a whole other animal, that's for sure. It's going to be difficult. And a lot of people are saying that the difficulty for them is insane, but I think it's partly because they're just not realizing how much damage bleed is doing to their team. They're not paying attention to their heroes' health bars and just kind of realizing that, oh crap, if I go with my big boom before I clear bleed, it's going to wipe me out. And they're not really paying attention to that. Alright, so that's basically the same score I've gotten a couple different times. I'll go ahead and move on just for fun. I was just wanting to try that over and over to see what would happen. I may think about swapping out one of the people right now. I put Theon in just for fun, just to see what would happen. But if I can't get him charged up after the first initial strike from Jamie, then it's just not... It's not going to do any better than 144k. I know it'll work, I just don't know how many times I'm going to have to try it to get it to work, and I don't want to sit here and do it 50,000 times. Because I didn't intend on going into this and spending 10 energy refills. Alright, so this one's kind of a bust. I'm going to try it one more time and let's swap somebody else in. Jamie's leadership ability is what gives him that 0 turn ability, but if I don't have him as leader, then Sunfire automatically starts charged up, and then at that point, is it worth even keeping him in the party at that point, I wonder? These are so weak I could kill them with any of them, so there's no real strategy involved here, just making sure that I get a 0 turn kill. Okay, so that was the 0 turn kill and it was only 145, so that's interesting. I thought it would be more than that, but bleed damage taken was the problem, I think. So yeah, that was definitely the problem. Bleed damage taken was insane, so I didn't bother to clear the bleed damage off before I attacked. And I think that really wrecked me on that. I do like how Sunfire starts automatically charged up, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing in this composition, honestly, because even if you can go right off the bat, if you do you do too much damage to the enemy? So right now I have 3 bleed on, and damage on skill attack for 3 turns. if I do an attack with this skill right now, it's going to do a ton of bleed damage, and that's where my points are going down the drain. But if I get lucky and get some boxes that I can match right at the start, that would give us some bleed immunity. Golly, nice cascades. Even though that didn't get me bleed immunity anywhere, I got everybody charged up. Okay, that did a crate, and that got me bleed immunity on Sunfire. So now I can use him and not take bleed damage. And the free folk is immune to bleed damage from rain of arrows. Stannis doesn't have bleed damage on, so he's free to use. Okay, so that time, even though I didn't get a 0 turn kill, you can see that I got a better score, but I also still took a ton of bleed damage. That's anytime you take damage from bleed. So yeah, that's definitely a hard number to get around. I'm trying to figure out how to get around it. But as you can see on that turn, I didn't even attack with Sunfire right off the bat and still ended up with more, but I still ended up with a pretty high score though, so I don't know. It's kind of hard to decide how you want to attack this. This is interesting. It's very interesting, and I know this is just normal, so it's going to be way easier than anything else, but I wanted to try to get a feel for it. And this is the best way to do it, is to just jump in there and try it. Okay, so nobody has bleed immunity, except for Tormund and Stannis. They don't have bleed immunity, but they don't have no bleed damage, I don't think. Let's look at Tormund. Yeah, he doesn't have bleed damage. So is there any way I can get rid of a crate? I don't see one. Don't see a way to get rid of a crate. Man, if I use one of the heroes, it's going to give me way too much bleed damage. So everybody, okay, now Stannis has bleed. I could probably use Tormund and see what happens, because he doesn't have bleed on him. So that advanced me, and now Stannis doesn't have bleed, so I could do that. Okay, so let's see how that score worked out. 157. It's still 75,000 bleed damage taken though. That's weird. I don't know how to get that any lower, so I'm going to try to figure this out. So this is just, this is, like I said, this is me playing this for the first time, so just bear with me here, folks. I know you're probably screaming at the screen and saying, just do this, but I haven't figured it out yet, sorry. Okay, so this time Stannis starts out with it, and Tormund is the only one that did not. I have no crates to try to match, so let's just throw some purple up. See what happens. Match some yellow. I don't even have yellow. Why did I match that? I don't know. Stannis doesn't have bleed damage right now, so we'll go ahead and use him. Tormund is free of it, so we'll go ahead and use him. Okay. Tormund and Stannis both are free of bleed damage. Let's see if we can start to get a crate busted or something. There's a crate broke. That didn't really help anybody, but well, I guess it gave immunity to auto. It's kind of random, isn't it? So I can definitely see a lot of replays in this version of the event, in this iteration of the development cycle of the event. I can definitely see some replays being done. Let's see what the number one guy is. Tarman, he's got 3 million something. Don't really see anybody in my bracket that's a threat. So as long as that one guy doesn't get to max score first, I should be able to get right up in there. This is just normal, however, though, so it's not like it's the end of the world if I don't. But I do want all those Tormund shards I can get, though. I'm going to say that because it looks like Tormund's going to be a beast in this one again. And that really tickles me to death because I love Tormund. And the fact that he's actually got the potential to be good again really, really excites me because I really like Tormund. In the show, he wasn't my favorite actor or anything like that. I didn't mind his part in the show, but it wasn't like I wasn't in love with it either. But in the game, as far as a hero, I think Tormund really has a lot of potential that most people just don't really get. One of the reasons why I really liked Tormund was because I used to like to run an AoE team quite a bit, where everybody on the team had an AoE attack. That was my favorite team I've ever played in this game because it was so much fun, because it just felt like I was just killing stuff left and right. 158, that's pretty good. Still 75,000 damage though. But in that AoE team, I just felt like I was just slaying everything, and it was great. I loved it. And he was an integral part of that because it was a rainbow setup, and he was the purple guy. So he definitely filled a big role in that team for me. And plus, I had full legendary gear on him at that point. He was one of the few that I actually did have a full set on. So he was beast. I think I've got full legendary gear on him right now as I'm trying to play this. Okay, let's see if I can break some crates. Nope, can't do that. Can't get no crate action. It's weird because I'm not even using anybody else in the team. It's basically just Stannis and Tormund. Because for whatever reason, Stannis doesn't seem to get bleed very much at the start, and I don't know why. I wonder if it's because of his placement in the lane. The person in the middle doesn't get bleed so much. I don't know. Maybe he has a skill that's causing him to not... Because see, okay, there he got bleed, but a lot of times he doesn't take bleed. And out of this whole party, he's the one that hasn't had bleed the least, except for Tormund, because Tormund's immune. But it's almost like I could just run Stannis, Tormund, and Otto and have a party because I'm not even using these two. I don't know what good they're doing me. They're not really doing me any good. I might ought to just, gosh, I don't know, throw some free folk in there. If I'm not going to use these two, then what's the point of them even being there? Maybe I ought to just throw some free folk in there and see what happens. At least it would give me some characters I could possibly use. But I just have sucky free folk, and that's one of the problems. I have sucky free folk. Okay, so, because I never really spent the effort on trying to advance them because I just never liked them as as a faction, so I never really put any effort into trying to advance them. Alright, I guess I'll just use Tormund because I only had one turn left. I should have did that last turn. I was looking at that, focused on that box though. I'll tell you what, let's do something here. Let's pull these two out. Well, let's look at what free folk I do have. Okay, so I got Lord of Bones. Come on, get off of there. Why won't that go away? Okay, there we go. I got Lord of Bones. And the only other free folk that I even have any levels in is Godswood Defender, but I guess I got Tormund I could throw in there, but it's just crazy because I'm just going to use Godswood Defender. He's level 1. Oh. Well, at least he won't get bleed damage. Maybe that will help me not have so much bleed damage on my counter at the end of the battle, if I don't have people in there that can take bleed so often. Okay, let's try to mess around and get some of these purples together. Alright, the bleed's gone off Stannis. What's he gonna do? Yeah, I couldn't remember what his move was. Now I got Lord of Bones that could do an AoE as well. I think he does. Yeah, he does an AoE. At this level, he almost one-shots him. Otto's got a bleed on him, so it wouldn't really be smart for me to use him right now. The Cascade's killing off those. And then I've got Tormund ready to go. Boom. He's going to wipe them. 154, so that's basically a lower score than I've ever gotten on that one. Let's go back and do that one more time just for kicks. I'm leaving Otto as the lead to see if maybe he could help people generate stamina. Okay, everybody charged up that time. Stannis doesn't have bleed on him, so I'm going to go ahead and use him because I know he'll wipe, and I know Tormund will wipe. So let's see what that did, because that should be a pretty decent score, I think. 158.5. So I guess that 158.5 is about as good as you're going to do if you don't get a perfect round, whatever a perfect round is. I know I've seen scores like 159.6 on a lot of people in my guild have shown me that. I'm not really sure what they were doing different than I am not, but maybe they got lucky with box breaking at the start, possibly, and got a couple. But see, almost all of my people are bleed immune, except for Otto and Stannis now at this point. So the game is designed to make you want to use the free folk for this event, because they take no bleed damage from rain of arrows. So if you have some decent level free folk, you're better off using them, I would think. I'm going to try that next turn and take probably Otto out and see what happens and put a free folk in. See what happens. If I use auto, he's going to take some bleed damage because he's got bleed. My Lord of Bones is not hitting him as hard as I thought he would. Okay, auto don't have bleed anymore, so let's try this. Okay, that was a 156, so that wasn't actually as good as I have been doing. Let's try to replay that. And let's take out auto and put in put in 1-1. I don't have 1-1 to 5, so I don't think he'll cause stealth at this level, but let me just try and see what happens. I think he's got to be at 5 stars to automatically cause stealth. No, he does. Okay, so I guess he does at this level. So let's try to charge up Tormund. And let's see, can we get a box break? I don't know. So right now nobody's taking gem damage. Stannis doesn't have bleed on him. Tormund is immune. Let's see if I can kill him with these two and then get the sweep for Tormund. Okay, did I even take any bleed damage that time? I don't know, but it still shows 75 though. God, where is that happening? I don't get it. Bleed damage taken. Lose 6,205 points anytime you take damage from bleed. Okay, I'm having the same amount applied every single battle, so I don't really understand that. Because I know every single battle is not exactly the same. Amount of turns and stuff, it's been different. So how is that even a thing? I don't get it. So nobody, okay, so Stannis has bleed and he took 3 hits of bleed right there. And my boxes haven't really, I mean, I've kind of been watching the boxes, but I kind of ain't. So I'm not even really sure if I've been doing a good thing with the boxes or not. So I don't even know if I've been being effective with my box breaking or not. Not sure. All right, there went one. All right, so cleanse the bleed. Now I can strike with this guy and kill him. And then a strike came from somewhere. Tormund, Stannis, and Bones, none of them have bleed damage. So let's just do stuff. Probably should have saved Lord of Bones to try to hit somebody here in a minute. My 1-1 is severely under-leveled. He's only like level 4 or something like that. In case you're wondering why that strike didn't do no good. So this is easy mode, and I'm not even getting 158s on the majority of them. So that right there tells me right off the bat that this event has definitely been tweaked. I'm going to hit this one again with a different team and see what happens. This event's mechanics have definitely been tweaked quite a bit, and that's fine. I'm not mad about it at all. We need something different, honestly, and this fits the bill. So I'm actually okay with this. because this gives me something to kind of think about, trying to figure out. Because it's definitely not going to plan. So yeah, let's see. Let's try to get a box break. Okay. Stannis has cleansed his bleed. Let's kill him. And then we'll do Stannis, and then that'll hopefully charge up Tormund. Oh, but that's the end of the enemy, so we're good. Okay, so 155, so that was better. And that's weird because I went into this battle with that being 144, and it says my best. Oh, okay, that's the best score now. Never mind. My bad. I'm not paying attention. I was thinking that said something completely different. It's funny how your brain will make you think you see something when you think that's what you're seeing, and it's not what you're seeing. Oh, goodness. Oh, I hate you, Ramsay. He plays such a good part in the show because he makes you want to hate him, and that's what he's designed to do. So he did it well. He did it so good to the point that people have a hard time seeing him in any other role now, kind of like Joffrey. Okay, can we get a box break? I can get. Yep, we got one. So now, I don't know, this guy still has bleed. Okay, let's do Tormund. Wipe the floor with him, Tormund. My boy. Okay, that's blue on blue. That's not going to go well. He is stunned now, though, so that's interesting. So, can we get box breaks? Is it even worth it? I can't even get a box break at all. Okay, let's see how that scores. So I guess I'm scoring average for most people. I guess I'm scoring average. Got quite a few left, so I can get quite a few points still. And it's crazy that I'm sitting here going in here with a level 1. I get it, but he's a free folk, so he's not taking bleed damage, and that's kind of, I'm just basically using him to try to keep my bleed damage down, bleed damage taken down, but that's not really working. So I don't know what else I could do at this point. We'll get Tormund to go. Then we'll have Stannis go. He doesn't have bleed. And then we'll see how we score. Okay, 158.5. It still shows 75,000. So I don't really get how you're supposed to change that, because nothing I'm doing is changing that. So I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. Am I just supposed to have all free folk in here? Maybe I'll just take Stannis out and see what happens, because he was the only one pretty much getting bleed. Why not? Let's see what happens. Try to get Tormund fired up. See, nobody has bleed right now, okay? So if I end up, we'll see at the end of the battle, if I end up with bleed damage, I'm going to be like, what? Because nobody has bleed. So this better show different, because it should. If nobody's taking bleed, then why would I have 75,000 bleed damage taken and get points for bleed damage taken? I don't know. Okay, nobody's got bleed still. Okay, nobody's got bleed still. And this isn't a good way to play because I'm short a character, so it's really hindering me. Okay, nobody has bleed still. Okay, let's do a Torment Strike. And let's do a Godswood Defender into Lord of Bones. Was not good enough. I cleansed a crate, or I broke a crate. Not really getting a lot of stamina generation. Okay, nobody is taking bleed damage, so there shouldn't be a penalty, honestly, because nobody's taking bleed damage. Okay, Lord of Bones. Alright, let's see what happens. I'm anxious to see the result of this. Okay, see, bleed damage taken 75,000. How do I have bleed damage taken when nobody had bleed that entire battle? Is it, I guess it's from the rain of arrows or something. I don't know, but they're all free folks, so they're supposed to be immune. I just don't get that. I just don't get that. Let's try something. No, yeah, well, let's try something else. Hang on. Let's try this again. Just for fun. Alright, here goes his power at the beginning. Boom. Nobody got charged up though. Nobody even got a smidge of stamina. Oh boy. Nobody got any stamina. He got bleed on him though, because he is not free folk. All right. So I'm basically just throwing stuff at this, trying to see differences in the scoring so that I can try to develop patterns. I'm not really seeing a lot of differences in the bleed calculation. It's just showing 75,000 every single time. I mean, I don't get that. Okay, the score could be higher if I had higher hit points remaining. And I was wanting to look at that turns taken one, but it went away. Let me go back and do that one again, because I could get a better score on that one with my original team that I had going. All right, let's try this and see what happens. and all the other free folk actually get bonus stamina for being selected heroes in this event. Or something, I don't know. I saw bonus stamina on, okay, so he's getting bonus stamina too. It must be maybe 1-1 skill, leadership ability or something causing that. Okay, he didn't have bleed damage on him. I hate to have to do that when I have an AoE charged. I need 3 or 4 opponents for him to do that. Thank you. Okay, 154. That was not much better. It was better, but not much. I want a 158 there. Okay, there went some crates. Lord of Bones finishes him off. Tormund's gonna wreck. Boom. Stannis is gonna wreck. Well, I'll do Lord of Bones and then this guy. And then 1-1. Can any of them kill him? They're all weak though. And then Stannis will finish. Let's see what the score is now. 155.9. Okay, that's better. I've got quite a few scores that could be raised. Wow, a lot of cascading. Goodness. Let's cascade, everybody. Wow. I was trying to get that one opponent killed. I had to use 3 of them to do it, but they're all weak. Except for Lord of Bones. He's 200 and something. I don't know why he's not hitting a little better. I may not have good gear on him, honestly. Okay, let's see what that is. 157, that's pretty decent. That 75,000 is not changing though, and that's weird. So I just now seen how long this video's went, and I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean for the video to go this long, but I've just been kind of confused sitting here scratching my head. Oh boy. I know as the difficulty increases a little bit, it will get a little bit easier for me because I can change up and make a little bit different teams with some different heroes that I have that will perform better. But on normal mode, I just thought, I guess I'm just used to thinking that, you know, on normal mode you can just do whatever and just blow through it. But it's definitely made you have to try to figure out some mechanics a little bit better. So they've done a good job with that for sure. If I was to say one thing that I probably don't like about the way this event is, it's going to be the fact that this is going to turn into a time suck. And this is going to end up being something that takes way too much time. I understand they're trying to get away from everybody doing speed runs on everything, but you got to understand nobody has 3 hours per difficulty level to sit here. And if they do, they need to get a life. and I don't want to have to sit here for that long to be competitive, and that's kind of why I don't like Rob's War, honestly, because Rob's War has just turned into a slog. Takes way too long. I don't have any crates on this one. There's one. Man, I am not having a good board this time. Can't believe Tormund didn't fill up that time. I figured he would. There he goes. Come on, Tormund, wipe them all. Boom. Man, that sucks. That sucks. All right, I'm going to pause the video because I don't want this going way too long, and it's already almost at 45 minutes. Man, I wish I would have had the video going right then, because on this one I made one match and it cascaded like 25 times. I've never had one like that. I wish I could have got that on film. God, that was amazing. So I'll put Sunfire back in just for funsies, because I just love Sunfire and I just can't hardly stand to have an event where I don't use him. He ain't doing much for me, but he's there looking pretty. That's what he's doing. Looking awesome. Mr. Sunfire. Okay. All right, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I've got 4 more. I'm going to do a couple and then I'll bring you back. So I'm getting pretty close to the end. I'll probably just go ahead and do all 20 and not try to set up for snipe, because I just don't like to do that. I don't like to be that guy. I go to the end of the event with what I got, and you see what I got, and if you can beat it, great. If you can't, then sorry. Okay. Stannis and Sunfire have bleed. Don't want to use them if I can. I guess the way the enemies are set up on this one, it's been giving me fits. I'll go ahead and use Sunfire even though he's got bleed, and that's probably not a good idea. Man, this one's giving me fits. I don't know if it's the color of the enemies or the way they're staggered. I don't know, but it's given me fits. I haven't been able to score anything over 150. It's like 148's my max on this one. I know I can do better than that. Ridiculous. Frustrating. And it's probably due to the amount of turns taken too. Okay, let's get some AoE action going. Man, it's ridiculous. This is easy mode, fellas. What is going on? I know that I am in for aggravation I can tell by the difficulty level of this normal mode. How difficult that's only going to get at Treacherous and Kingslayer. It's just ridiculous. Oh my god. I'm moving on. I can't deal with that level anymore. This has gone on so long that I've already kind of lost my focus, and that's one thing I hate about the events that go on this long like this, is it's hard to keep focus throughout the whole thing. For those of you that can, I applaud you, but I'm just not that guy. Let's see what happens. Too many turns. Yeah. It was a pretty decent score though, I mean. So I'm at 2-9. This guy in first is 307. I mean, I'm totally gonna blow by him with this one. He's probably got one in the hole though, because that's what most people do nowadays. But I'm just going to finish it out so I can finish the video. Oh, finally started me with some purple there. Thank you. Almost filled Torment up on turn 1. Wish they would have. That would have been cool. Okay, Ramsey. Well, that cascaded out well. All right, so that was number 20. So that puts me ahead of that guy, but the scores are just abysmal. Nowhere near what I've been seeing my alliance mates get, so they must be doing something better than what I'm doing, that's for sure. So, you know, you saw what I did. Let's look at my roster real quick so you can kind of get an idea of what I had available, because I would like for somebody to tell me in the comments what I'm doing wrong. Why is that bleed number on bleed damage taken not going down? it's always 75,000. Why is that the maximum that it caps out at, and it just always gets there? Is that why it does that, or am I doing something wrong? This is the roster that I have. You can see what I could possibly put in my team. So if you can look at this and tell me a better team comp, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say, because I'm obviously not getting it, what I'm supposed to be doing. I thought I was doing pretty decent, but it's just not working. I'm not getting the scores that I'm seeing everybody else get, and I don't know why, honestly. So yeah, so if you have any ideas, look at my team comp and tell me what you think. I think that's probably good enough right there. If there's nobody else below that's going to be of any use. So I appreciate you watching this video. I do want to take this time to say, while I have your ear, that my house, the Three-Eyed Ravens, has one opening that we would be interested in entertaining anybody who's interested in joining. We would preferably like to have a high power player, but somebody with a developed roster, we'd be willing to make an allowance and possibly take someone under 600K. I know that number is kind of subjective. It mainly depends on your roster, obviously, because we're a top tier alliance and we're a top tier experience, so we are kind of picky, and we're looking for someone that has a pretty good fleshed out green team. Would be nice to see somebody with that. So if you think you got what it takes, then join my Discord. The link's in the description of the video. Send me a DM and let's talk. I'll be wanting to see pictures of your roster, and we can look at that and talk, because I've got one slot open, and it would be a steal to grab that spot, honestly, because like I said, we do top tier content. We do 10 skull dragons every single day. Got that sweet loot, so we would be a catch for anybody that's serious about looking for a good alliance to join. So thanks for watching this video. I appreciate your time. I will see you in another video about Game of Thrones Legends coming soon. Peace.